quick update on the transmission. This is actually an older piece of video I meant to include before. This is not the current leaking situation. This was sort of in the middle. I do think we've got it licked. I was getting a little bit of moisture coming out of the dipstick, but it was, I think, just an excess. It was overfilled. I have not had any the last few times I've driven it, so hopefully the transmission issue is finally done.
Things that are not where they should be. I've had a heck of a time with this piece of metal here that keeps falling off of the door, and you might not even be able to tell just because looking right there, it doesn't look like anything's missing. What this is actually is a interior drip rail. The idea is, if you can see this, that fits up under into here, and that little has a little notch down in there, so basically make a rail. The idea being that any rain that gets past the window frame will come into there, and then, as you can see, this is slanted downward, and it will end up over here and actually go into that little depression there, which actually goes down into the window, and so then it would go down through the door and drain normally, just like rainwater on the outside. And this thing has come off several times. The shop supposedly put it on for me. I think at this point it's actually been stepped on, so it's not quite true straight anymore. But yeah, really, really annoying. So you can see what it looks like properly installed here on the other side, where it forms this inside drip rail, and then it ends up right there, draining into that little compartment. Neat. Honestly, this is sort of a design flaw, I think, in a lot of mid-century cars, where the way the windows worked is they basically were on the exterior of the car, and then they came up and then formed a seal by sitting against rubber on the body of the car, rather than actually having a built-in groove like you see on modern cars where the window goes up and down and sticks into that groove. It's really a better design, and that's why past this period, you don't see that too much, because honestly, it's just not a very good design, and people finally got smarter. So we're going to try and see when we get this thing up in there. I think the guys at the shop had actually been gluing it for me, but I think the problem was they weren't having it sit right there. So the idea being that if you actually manage to get it in there, just that should keep it in. I've taken out the screw that's right here on the end so I can pull this out a bit, so we'll see if we are successful. I think I've got it in there. It is far from perfect. You can see I'm bowing out quite a bit here. Unfortunately, I think that's just because that thing got bent from having been out, and probably got stepped on and stuff from sitting in the back of the seat, which is where it was for probably about a year. I've got this part in here the way it's supposed to be, so as you can tell, but so that last bit there sits in that, so that actually keeps that end up, so that should stay, although that gap is not great. I suppose if I really want to fix it better than that, I'm going to have to pull that thing out again after the trouble of getting it in and bend on it a little bit, which I don't think I'm going to do. So I think that's going to be the way it is. I think it's going to be functional. It seems like it's stuck in there pretty good. I don't know why that's going so slow, but it does appear to be going up and down okay. So hopefully we have finally gotten this addressed. Let's give her a close. All right, fingers crossed. Well, the mystery of the slow rolling down windows is solved. Yep, battery was old. Was right at 5 years, so not super antiquated, but about the worst thing you do for a battery is just have it sit without ever cranking, and of course that's what happened while the transmission was being done. So hopefully that old boy will get us for the next 5 years at least.